questions 1 through 10 on the 2013 Grade 7 Gauss Math Contest. The value of 5 times 3 minus 2 is 5 times 3 is 15, and then 15 minus 2 is 13. So number 1, the answer is E. Which of the following numbers is a multiple of 9? Let's list the multiples of 9. 1 times 9 is 9. 2 times 9 is 18. 3 times 9 is 27. 4 times 9 is 36. 5 times 9 is 45. And I'll do one more. 6 times 9, which I believe is 54. And now let's look at these numbers. Are any of these numbers any of these numbers? And the only one that matches is this guy right here. This 45 is right here. So that's the only multiple of 9 among the answer choices. So number 2, the answer is D. 36 hundredths is equal to. I'm a runner, and I've been a big fan of running also when I watch the Olympics. And I've always watched the 100-meter race, and not always, but sometimes somebody will win by 1/100th of a second, right? So the guy who wins the gold medal runs 9.79, and the guy who wins the silver medal will run 9.80. And this is a very fast race. So that's how I remembered it actually when I was younger. 1/100th of a second is 0.01. So 36 hundredths is basically 36 times this. So that's just 0.36. And I'd like to give a shout out to Ben Johnson, who ran 9.79 at the Olympics back in 1988 to win the gold medal. And we all know what happened after that. The value of 1 plus 1 minus 2 plus 3 plus 5 minus 8 plus 13 plus 21 minus 34. Okay. Well, it's a simple addition subtraction question, but this one is kind of interesting because things start to cancel out very quickly. So 1 plus 1 is obviously 2, and then if you subtract 2 from it, this part becomes 0. 3 plus 5 is 8, and if you subtract 8 from that, that becomes 0. 13 plus 21 is 34. If you subtract 34 from it, it becomes 0. So, in a very interesting way, it all ends up being 0. So number 4, the answer is D. If PQ is a straight line segment, then the value of x is. This symbol means 90 degrees. So if this is 90 also, because they told me that PQ is a straight line. So this whole thing is 180. So you can either say, okay, the whole thing is 180, so all of these angles have to add up to 180. Okay, well, this angle is 90, and then we have an x, and then we have a 20. And all of that together is 180 degrees. So solving for this, this looks like 180 minus 110, and x therefore is 70 degrees. So number 5, the answer is B. Nick has 6 nickels, 2 dimes, and 1 quarter. In cents, how much money does Nick have? 6 nickels, 2 dimes, and 1 quarter. Well, the value of a nickel in cents is 5. The value of a dime in cents is 10, and the value of a quarter in cents is 25. So this would be 30 plus 20 plus 25, and that is 75. 75 cents is how much Nick has, and therefore number 6, the answer is B. The smallest number in this set is? Well, what I like to do is just convert them to decimals. Makes it a little bit easier to compare. Some of you don't need to do that, but I'll do it. This is 0.5 in decimals. This is approximately 0.67. This is 0.25. This is 0.83. And this is a little bit over 0.5, so probably 0.58, something like that. And it's obvious when you put it in decimal form that the smallest is this guy, which is this right here. Another way of doing this question very quickly is noticing that all of these other guys are either a half or greater than a half. This is the only one that's actually less than a half. So number 7, either way, is C. Ahmed is going to the store. 1/4 of the way to the store, he stops to talk with Key. He then continues for 12 kilometers and reaches the store. How many kilometers does he travel altogether? Well, they are saying that 1/4 of the way to the store is that distance right there. And therefore, the distance from there to there would be 3/4. So 3/4 of the total length of the store, which I'll call x, is 12 kilometers. So we're solving for x. So 3x, if you cross multiply, will be 48. And then x will be 48 divided by 3, which is 16. So the total distance is 16. And as you can clearly see, it would basically be 12 and 3 as the separate distances from the start to key, and then from key to the store. So number 8 is 16, and that would be choice B. An expression that produces the values in the second row of the table, given the values of n in the first row, is. What we have to do is figure out which one of these, if you plug these values in, will give you these values. And some of you can do that in your head, and others take a little bit of time. And you have a choice. Either you can kind of do it for every single one, a little bit time consuming, or you can kind of think about what's going on over here. Well, 1 goes to 1, nothing changes there. This 2 goes to 3. 3 goes to 5, 4 goes to 7, 5 goes to 9. Okay, so what's happening here? Well, actually, it's every consecutive odd number. So they're just basically consecutive odd numbers. And consecutive odd numbers are of the form 2n plus 1 or 2n minus 1. Because even numbers are always of the form 2n. If you want an odd number, you add 1 or you subtract 1. So which one of these answer choices is one of these guys? And when you stare at it, you realize that the only one is this one. And let's verify. It won't take that long. When n is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I plug them into 2n minus 1. When n is 1, this would become 2 times 1 minus 1, which is 1. When n is 2, it would become 4 minus 1, which is 3. When n is 3, this expression would become 6 minus 1, which is 5. When n is 4, it would become 7. And when n is 5, it would become 2 times 5 minus 1, which is 10 minus 1, which is 9. So indeed, this is the expression. So number 9, the answer is E. U, V, W, and X, Y, Z are 3-digit integers. U, V, W, X, Y, Z are different digits chosen from 1 to 9. What is the largest possible value for U, V, W minus X, Y, Z? So we want the largest possible value for this. If that's the case, we want this to be as large as possible and this to be as small as possible. Okay? So U, V, W, and remember we have to choose digits from 1 to 9, and all of them have to be different. Can't use the same one. Can't use 111, 999. That's not allowed. So if I want to make this as large as possible, the U is going to be a 9, the V is going to be an 8, and the W will be a 7. So these three are gone. Now I want to make this as small as possible. The X will be a 1, the Y will be a 2, and the Z will be a 3. This is the only way to make this as large as possible, and this as small as possible, and therefore this will be as large as possible. 987 minus 123 is 864. And therefore number 10, the answer is B.